if we are not serious about facts and what's true and what's not, and particularly in an age of social media where so many people are getting their information in sound bites and snippets off their phones, if we can't discriminate between serious arguments and propaganda, then we have problems.
While President Obama suggests Donald Trump was elected because voters were duped by fake news, other Democrats are pointing the finger at everything from the FBI to racism for Hillary Clinton's loss. But Mercedes, what about their liberal policies?
Well, I think that's exactly where it starts. Obviously, this election was a referendum on liberalism. I think there was wide concern of the country moving further to the left, of government dictating how we live our lives, and also this idea of globalism, something that Barack Obama has spoken about throughout his presidency. So I think that it raised a serious concern of, is America the one that they're not focused necessarily on our country, they're more focused on the outside world and not internally, and also the idea of a failed Obamacare. When you saw the premiums just skyrocket in so many states, it was hitting Americans in their pocketbooks. It was a negative effect, and I think clearly this election showed that it was a rejection of the liberal policies, and that goes across the board through state legislators, through governorships. Democrats have lost significant ground.
I'm glad you brought that up. And before I throw it to Geraldo, we're going to show a couple of graphics. I'm not sure if you ever turned on your screen, but the first one, check it out. Number of House Democrats under President Obama since 2008. Almost 20% drop, 19.3% drop in House Democrats. In the Senate, they lost about 10%. Keep going. State, we want to talk about at the state level. Governors, they lost 35%, almost 36% of the governor's mansions, and then the state legislatures, 20%. Point being, President Trump will have a House, a Senate. He'll have 31 of the 50 state governor's mansions and state legislatures across the country. Has liberalism failed in America?
Well, I don't disagree with what Mercedes said at all. I think liberalism has failed to the extent that what happened with Bernie Sanders and what happened with Donald Trump, there's a great parallel there. This whole notion among white rural people that the world was slipping out of their hands, that things were being done to them rather than for them.
I got to stop you. White rural people? Did you say white rural people?
Yeah.
Because
I think that's the majority of the Trump supporters.
Trump only increased the white vote by 1%. He increased the black vote by 7% and the Latino vote by 8%. So the increase over 2012
those numbers were insignificant.
Geraldo,
this was.
You know what?
Let me agree with you.
That blows my mind. Because before the election, all you liberals said he needs to increase the Latino vote. Trump, and he's not doing it.
I am not a liberal. First of all, I am not a liberal. And I think that if you look demographically, this was overwhelmingly for Donald Trump, the white folks revolting against Hillary Clinton and the liberal Democrats.
I'll push back vehemently against that. I'll push back vehemently because the numbers don't bear that out. Let me go ahead.
Going back to all right. Well, I would, if you want to do a fact check, I mean, please do. Just put on your chart.
I already did, Geraldo. It's a New York Times fact check, by the way. Exit polls show 1% increase in white vote for Trump over Romney, 7% for black vote under
Hillary faded with the white vote. She faded with white women. It's what it was.
Gentlemen, you have to.
It was a dramatic.
Eric,
it was a dramatic racial election, and now we have to heal the bonds.
Let finish your thought, Geraldo.
That's it. We have to heal the division.
No doubt.
And we have to give Donald Trump a chance to be the president of all the people. I mean, that's what we have to do.
I don't dispute it. I just dispute your assessment of how Donald Trump won. Gina, I'm going to throw it to you.
But division became worse under President Obama. Let's not forget that. And Hillary was a continued episode of the Obama presidency. Geraldo, I would honestly, if I were advising the Democrat Party right now, I would say, look not just at the referendum on globalism that Mercedes pointed to, but also a referendum on racial division and identity politics. I think that narrative is dead. I think it didn't work. It's all the other news networks wanted to talk about, Eric, as you know. But it didn't work this time. And I would also say the narrative of the environmentalism is more important than economic prosperity and safety of Americans. That didn't work either. So there were several failed narratives here. And if I were a Democrat, I would be listening a little more than I'm judging, and I would be trying to talk a little bit more about coming together on values that unite Americans rather than breaking everybody up by race, by gender, by class, by everything else. I think America is done with that narrative.
All right, let's leave it right here because we want to save some time for that next block. It's a big block coming up. Poor little protesters, many in the media saying Trump's agenda and his rhetoric are why they're causing chaos across the country. We expose another double standard when we come back.